Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 1 in a series between VP BenQ's Slivko versus XMG's ToD here on RSL Mammoth. Now, if I could zoom out, I would show you everything about this map, because, well, this is the first time I've ever cast a game on it. Couple of things to note: there is untraversable terrain all along the side here. There is this high ground location with a rock tower that I believe actually closes off this particular location, and there is also brush right here. So this is all rather interesting. You could actually come in behind here, siege up, and try to rain down on your opponent's expansion. Your opponent's expansion surprisingly only has 6 mineral patches and has a rich Vespian geyser. Meanwhile, the map is mirrored, so I am assuming that it is going to be the same off over here. Very, very fast natural expansions. Very easy to protect, but then again, once range units get up onto this high ground, it is going to be very, very difficult to clear them out. Meanwhile, moving right along, the next expansion is quite a ways away. I am surprised that they actually got this map into the tournament map pool, as Zerg players are generally players who really need that extra gas, and having a third base is rather necessary for them. So Slivko is going to be in a bit of a sticky situation, as we are now already looking at a probe doing what may appear to be a cannon rush. Alright, cannoning up on that high ground there. You can see another set of rocks right there, as the probe is just going to wander right back in here, and he is going to be able to set up a pylon and a photon cannon and say, you know what are you going to do about it? Alright, another thing that he could easily do, he could actually build it up on the high ground here instead, or build a pylon. Well, high ground here, photon cannon could actually shoot up onto the high ground, as we are now going to be looking at this probe coming around the backside. So far, the probe is just going to be doing a little bit of scouting, not actually setting up that cannon as I initially had expected, and instead, ToD goes for a Nexus first. Alright, what's going to be happening here? Perhaps we will be seeing a probe, as Slivko is moving around with this Overlord. The Overlord does spot the pylon on the high ground though, so that is already underway. Quick cancellation there, as the Zerglings would be able to get to that rather quickly. Drones already on their way over, no good wall off location, as ToD shows you a quick way to lose 25 minerals. Now, this Forge fast expansion, I don't really know if the Forge was necessary, but it was good in the sense that ToD had the option if Slivko was not on top of his Overlords. This map does smell like major cheese to me, and Slivko, perhaps playing on this map at least 1 or 2 times, knew exactly what to expect, as we are looking at this drone being forced to try and clear out at least this pylon before setting up a third base. Now, this third base is rather far away, I must admit. You can take a look past a couple of brush here off to the side in order to even get to this location. The probe is going to be wandering around here, may even be able to throw down a photon cannon if it wants to, and make it an even more difficult expansion location to clear. Forcing a queen or roach to get over there would be rather long and painstaking. Roach is taking a difficult time to tech to at this point, as Slivko has not even thrown down a roach warren, and the queen, with that very slow walking distance, being slow as well. Now, we are looking at a rather unusual front door here. He is not actually using any of these choke points. Instead, he has a very long wall of buildings, forcing the Zerglings to run all the way around the backside here. If we even saw one photon cannon here, those Zerglings would get taken down rather easily, as the Zerglings now make their way off to that third base in order to clear out this proxy pylon. Level 1 weapons upgrades is coming in. Another thing to note, that the rich Vespian geyser is off over here. The players can take that rather early. Instead, ToD actually having both of his geysers here relatively early instead. That does make my head scratch just a bit. There is higher efficiency and higher return per probe off of this rich Vespian geyser. Perhaps it will be used just a little bit later. Off to the north, you see another proxy pylon here, as ToD is setting up proxy pylons all across the map to try and perhaps make a play. So far, though, the hatchery just now going to be coming in. One Zealot going to get surrounded by a handful of Zerglings rather quickly. The Zealot does have a little bit of a slower attack speed and a beautiful exchange there, as the Zerglings and the Zealots are going to be going back at it. There you go. The Zealot may actually take down 2 Zerglings, but now in come a sea of Zerglings once more. This Zealot is not long for life. It does get taken down. Coming back across, the Mothership Core is going to be coming into play, and it is going to be able to shoot down a number of Zerglings very, very easily. Unlike the other units in StarCraft 2 from the Protoss, it is one of the air units that cannot attack while moving. Mothership Core actually trying to fire back here, taking down a couple of Zerglings, but ToD uncharacteristically losing a Stalker for no real reason. Coming back around, though, we do see more gateways coming in. ToD is going into a gateway with a robotics facility instead of a Stargate, and that may appear to be a problem in just a bit, as Mutalisk will be charging across the map, running off of 6 geysers in just a second. Alright, you see a chain of drones already making their way over. The base has been established at nearly the 8-minute 45-second mark. Drones now coming in right on time, as we will be getting about 360 gas per minute. Coming back around, ToD is oversaturated at this mineral patch here. Normally, players do not make that mistake, but since there are only 6 mineral patches, very, very easy to understand why. Meanwhile, the Queen has made its way over, finally trying to connect these additional bases, as Zealots are running in. The proxy pylon off to the south, able to warp in a handful of units there, as the Stalker is now attempting to shoot down this Overlord instead of going after the Zerglings here. The Nexus is taking a little bit of will be taking a little bit of actual damage, as the Stalker is just trying to shoot down the Overlord. There goes the Overlord, now going after the Zerglings. The Nexus will not fall, but it will take a little bit of superficial damage, as we now see the Mutalisk have shown up to try and take down that proxy pylon. Alright, the gig is up. Level 2 weapons upgrade already coming in. Robotics facility, Twilight Council with Blink, but that is not really enough to handle a Mutalisk anymore with their faster regeneration. It is very difficult to pick off enough units. You will normally be having full hit point Mutalisks throughout the match, as those Mutalisks only need 120 seconds to get back up to full. There you go. Mutalisk now attempting to take down this Nexus here. Most likely will just force a cancellation. There you go. As the Stalkers are now in a bit of trouble. No blink yet, and these Stalkers are now on the run. Stalkers able to run back all the way home, but Slivko seems to have every major advantage, as the Photon overcharge on the Nexus clears everything out there. Alright. Destructible Rock Tower on the high ground will fall onto the low ground, giving a little bit of additional coverage. Meanwhile, the Proxy Pylon on the high ground, revealing all of these units, will get taken down. ToD at 82 supplies, Slivko at 122. Slivko having a massive lead at this point, especially without any Archons to really deal any serious damage. Here we go, the Mothership Core looking to try and finish that off. The Mothership Core, however, that Photon overcharge will be done in just a second. The Cybernetics Core is now gone, meaning no more Stalkers or Sentries. That was the major counter that ToD was hoping for. No more Stalkers, unless you count the Stalkers currently on the field, as the Stalkers are currently in a little bit of a sticky situation. 15 Stalkers, 1 Mothership Core. Dark Templars now warping in, should be going into Archons in just a moment, as the Dark Templars are now making a move out across the map. Are the Dark Templars going to be able to do anything here? That is the question. Are we seeing any Overseers? Yes, 3 Overseers have been trained up, as the Dark Templars are now trying to make their way inside the base. ToD is behind. He will not gain any additional traction here with those Dark Templars, as they are picked off before anything is really done. We are now up to 7 more Mutalisks being trained. Stalker count rather low. Oh, are we going to see a recall? Yes, we will. A brilliant use of recall there. 1 Stalker apparently didn't get the invite to the party, as the Dark Templars cleaning up that hatchery, needing to make sure that his opponent does not get an infinite amount of free gas unchecked. The Dark Templars have cleared out a couple of those extractors and another hatchery there, but they will get cleaned up. Meanwhile, another Dark Templar off over here. hiding off to the side. It will get cleaned up. There it goes as the Overseer does arrive. Meanwhile, Stalkers now picking off Overlords. A little bit of free play here as ToD really showing some strong play with this Mothership Core. Mothership Core does move rather slowly, but it is still very effective with all of these Stalkers playing a very defensive game. We are going into level 2 missile attacks, no sentries to reduce the amount of damage on those glaive worms, as ToD has just been playing very efficiently with the number of units he has. Unfortunately, the number of units he has is significantly lower, as we are going to see a time warp here. Mothership Core gonna get taken down. Stalkers are blinking back, but they now have nowhere to run, as there are some Stalkers on the high ground. Stalkers blinking into the time warped area there, as the Mutalisks are still just blowing everything away on the ground. A new round of Stalkers do arrive to the party, but it may be too little too late, as an Archon now finally arrives as well. Alright, one Archon in the mix. Is it gonna be enough, as the Stalkers do blink back up to the high ground here? No photon cannons yet at this third base, as we are going into level 3 weapons upgrades. Now, a curious addition here by Slivko. We are going into Swarm Hosts, as the air has already been covered. There you go, one photon cannon down. Second photon cannon gonna get taken down as well. Still with plenty of Mutalisks on the field. It looks like that Nexus may get picked off here, as the Stalkers and Archons are fighting together. That Archon really not doing that much splash damage there, trying to finish off more units. Those Mutalisks will be backing off, and especially with no starport or Stargate on the way, those Phoenixes would be the actual answer and key, but it's just too far behind. You really need that additional range upgrade to do anything, as we are now looking at level 3 ground weapons upgrades and Dark Templars. Here you go, Mutalisks are now making their way over. These probes are going to have a very bad day. No, they are actually able to return home. They're going to be coming back around the corner here, and this map is just showing the sheer dominance of airplay, as these Mutalisks are looking very strong. Alright, probes now once again transferred back down to the main base. We are a 2-base Protoss versus a 4-base Zerg. The units lost higher for ToD, but ToD, being the micro master that he is and was in Warcraft 3, showing that you can still fight back with insufficient resources. Zerglings still wandering around here. One probe activating the Zelnaga Tower to the south. Still getting a little bit of a pre-warning just in case any units try to make their way over. New Nexus now coming in from ToD again, as we are going into Infestors as well. Alright, there's a Stalker battle there. We are looking at a Mothership Core now in the attempts of a retreat, as the Changelings are now making their way over, perhaps to do a little bit of scouting. Coming across the map, you can see Zerglings, Overseers, and Mutalisks all ready to go. Drones now making their way up, perhaps trying to set up another base off over here. There's another rich Vespene Geyser and another base down here on the low ground. I don't see any real reason to set up any extra bases at this point, as this is looking like a landslide victory for Slivko once he gets up to 200 supply. Mutalisks now looking to come in. He has the advantage. He doesn't want to lose it. He's going to be sniping down this Nexus in a matter of seconds. There it goes. He may even try to take down the natural expansion Nexus as well. No, instead of hitting all the production buildings, the Forge is now going to get shot down, but the Stalkers have already gotten to level 3 weapons upgrades. Mutalisks now trying to engage. That one Archon is really the main damage dealer, but it is just simply too slow to catch up to those Mutalisks at all. Stalkers trying to, or blinking forward, able to pick some more off once again, as the Stalkers and Zerglings are going to be going in an engagement. There you go, the Stalkers blink around away from one poor Archon. He was really well surrounded. Didn't have to worry about Zerglings all of a sudden in trouble, as we now see the Nexus looking to join in on some kills. The Nexus getting in some shots there. It looks like some damage will be dealt. Zerglings will get finished off here, but ToD at 52 supply really does not know how far behind he is, as more and more units are just rallied to the front door of his base. Slivko 4 bases, 4 operational bases compared to 2. The main base nearly mined out. We do see a tech to tier 3 underway, as a whole bunch of banelings are going to be making their way forward. Here you go. What's going to be happening next? Mutalisks are now trying to make their way in. Are we just going to see this entire base fall in just a second? ToD does have Photon Overcharge no longer, as it just wanes, as the Zerglings now trying to charge in again. There you go. Here's the attack of Banelings getting force fielded just in time. The Banelings go, you know what? I'd rather have some probes anyways. There they go. And Slivko is victorious. ToD losing to Slivko in Game 1. Please stay tuned to Game 2 in this best of 3 series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.